Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So good to see you all here. And I'm very excited because I have my guest, Minnassa. So we're just going to say hello to a few people that I see that are here. Spirit Beyond the Stars. Hi, welcome. And Ron, Unconditional Love Tarot. Always good to see you, big bro. Hello. Hello, Flowing. Nice to see you. And yes, as you're coming in, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Oh, I got my other speaker on here. Uh, hey, Anna Banana. Hello. And Renee is here. Hey, Renee from the Tarot Love community. And Suzanne. So nice to see you. So I am really, oh, there's Lisa. Hey, Lisa from Spirit Intuitive Tarot. I am really excited to have Minnassa on. I saw her on the Tarot Love community with Renee, and I forgot how long that was. Maybe was that a couple months ago, 2, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. And I was just so mesmerized by her presence and the information that she shared. And I said, you know what? I want to get to know this lady. And I knew at some point I was going to have her here on Wellness Wednesday. So very, very excited to have her here today. Hey, Janet and Liz, nice to see you. And so Minnassa, who is Minnassa? Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you got into tarot, all of that good stuff.
Well, I would say that Minnassa is a work in progress. And so
Aren't we all?
that's right. So I have now termed myself the diva of divination.
Ooh.
But who I am, I'm a California girl that's in the Mid South right now. And I am someone who always had a healing, guiding. I think I discussed with you like when I was in elementary school, kids would come to me. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but they would come to me and then I would dispense guidance and wisdom to them. Same thing through
Mhm.
junior high and high school. And so, one of the things I'd say about myself is that I'm highly spiritual. When I was in the traditional church, I was all up in that. I'm an ordained minister, seminary grad. I was a pastor of a traditional church because I love guiding and inspiring and motivating and equipping people spiritually. So what happened was, I mean, I was like a professor. I taught Old Testament survey and New Testament survey, but that wasn't a connection to me. I was like,
Mhm.
and huh. So literally, I put the key to my church on my desk. I cleaned it out, put the key to the church on my desk like at 3 a.m. Shut the door because it locked when you left, and drove back. I was a pastor and my friend's dad called it the armpit of California, a small town called Blight. And I came back kind of with my tail between my legs because it was like this was going to be my gig. And
Wow.
then just through a woman who I call an angel, introduced me to New Thought. She went to I don't know, I guess it's Sunland Center for Spiritual Living, but I worked as an admin, a skill I didn't have, and I learned it while I worked there. And she took me I was her assistant, so I went with her to one of her meetings. And the person we were going to meet gets on the elevator and she says, "Do you know the secret?" To which my friend Terry replied, "Yes, I know the secret." I'm like, "What in the heck?" So then I watched The Secret.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow. So here's funny. So now I see like Reverend Beckwith, all these people who at that time I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, no, this is too new agey and weird for me. But eventually I found myself on I don't know, it's the new age aisle probably at Barnes and Noble. Yes, a bookstore because I'm a book nerd.
Yes, I miss the bookstores.
And I was reading by Abraham Hicks.
Mhm.
And they said something in the book, but it was like how you are inside. Your inside is determining your outside. So the first time I read it, it said basically you are the cause of the life you have. Well, my life was all jacked up, so I was like, close this book and put it away. I'm not ready for this, right? But it was true. So then I went back. Excuse me, and they were talking about how you are on the inside. And now this is just a bunch of new age gobbledygook. And then just really gently, my guides are like, As a person thinks in their heart, so there. I'm like, oh shoot, this is straight out the Bible. So then it kind of helped release my, then I had to go there. This was in 2006. So now
Okay.
here I am 16 years later. I mean, this has been quite a process for me, but unlearning, releasing my religiosity and stepping into my spirituality, but bringing the good of that, and
Hmm.
releasing those things that aren't for where I am now. It served me well at that time, and I'm
Right.
grateful, but it's not where I am now. And so how I ended up with tarot, I don't know how it began. Either I got a reading. I'm not sure how. I've gotten readings before when I was younger, which I mean by younger last week. No, I mean years ago.
Of course, yes.
Yes, thank you. Um, but I decided to quit my job because I was sick of working, which is always a challenge for me because I'm not the best employee. And so I was driving for Lyft trying to, as I was going to build my business. And I picked up this lady and she got in the car and she was talking to someone. She said, some tarot cards. I'm like, did you just say tarot cards?
Hmm.
She's like, yeah, I just came from here, Z Fabrique. And yes, that is the name of it. I didn't have a seizure and you didn't mishear me. It's called Z Fabrique. And they did what was called a round robin. So every Thursday, first Thursday, third Thursday, something like that, you could come in for 10 minutes for $10, something. You could get a reading with 3 different types of psychics. And so I signed up, and that's how I got started. That's how Minnassa sort of came around. I think what got me more interested is that my daughter has a friend who was very intuitive, very connected. And I want to say he, because when we met Robert, now Robert is Gabriella, that's sort of how we got started. That's how I met Minnassa. So my government name is Villa Willis, but he did a reading and introduced me to my dimensional selves and said, oh, Minnassa, she's a really fierce African lady. She got a little short hair and she wears like a red Maasai thing and she carries a spear. I thought, she's a badass. Okay, yeah, let me challenge. But I thought, oh, what? That's a woman? Because in several readings before, people had seen her.
Wow.
And so I took on her name, Minnassa, in
I
honor
love
of
that.
her. And so
Wow.
that's where I'm at.
That is very cool. And, it's so interesting. I love it when we're introduced to something early on in our lives and we look at it because I had the same situation. I saw The Secret and read the Abraham Hicks book, asking if it is, what was it?
Yes,
Ask and it is
yes.
given. And someone had told me about that book. And I remember the first time I picked it up because the beginning talks about how Esther comes into connection with Abraham. And I was like, the heck? What is this? I was like, she's speaking, someone's speaking through her. What? Like, like I did not have the bandwidth to even
Yes,
begin to
yes,
understand
yes.
that. And so, fast forward years later, I pick up the book, I read it, and then I also get trained in coaching on learning on the principles of Abraham Hicks. So I just think it's great how the seed gets planted and we may not do anything with it right in that moment, but later on down the line, it generally comes back to us. So I love that that happened for you. And the fact that you knew what was right for you as far as, religion, you had reached a certain point. And like I have a very, I was brought up in the church, big background in the church. And there are some aspects of that I still love and cherish and work within my spirituality today as well. So um, I think it's just beautiful that you were able to open up and do
And
all
then
of
I want
that.
to share a funny story because you shared with me about your family. My mom's still very, very traditional. The funny thing is, she's at that church because I was so traumatized about her going to hell because she didn't go to church. I put all my focus on that. And then I thought,
Mhm.
oh, we are going to have the conversation about my new age life. But my guides let me know, she knows right away. 1 year from my birthday, when I lived here, my mother sent me unakite earrings and an angel bracelet and earrings. And I'm like, why is my mom sending me crystals and angels? Right? I thought, okay, even there's that connection there. And so she may not have realized that, but her guys were like, no, get her this. And so there is still that possibility. I know it'll be quite the conversation, but I am who I am.
That's it. That is it. So, and we're glad that you are who you are.
Yay.
And so for those of you that do not know, Minnassa does have her own YouTube channel, and it's Tarot Living with Minnassa. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel? And I have the link as well in the description here, but I'll put it here while you're telling everyone about your channel.
Okay. So Tarot Living with Minnassa, I'm trying to, I'm a boomer. Boomers go to 64 and I was born in 63. So I'm just trying to catch up. And so my commitment to that page is that I do a tarot reading, Tarot Tuesday. And initially I was doing like new moon and, but there's so many talented people that are already doing those things that when I came into this year, I really thought, Spirit, how do I use this channel? How do I use it to shine my light? How do I use it to serve in the best way possible? Oh, thanks. Ron's got my link tree up there.
Yep, he's on it. Thank you, Ron. I also pinned it at the top there.
So thank you. Thank you all. So what I do on Tuesdays is I do a reading that's guided by my Council of 12, which is a group that I sort of my Abraham Hicks, a group that I work with. And what is going on? So like this week on Tuesday, I did the African Goddesses, a celebration of African American History Month, and what was their guidance from those goddesses. So it's more, what is the issue? What is sort of the energy? And then sort of with the folks. Now I'm like, oh, what did I do it on before? But I do it once a week. It's on Tuesdays, my Tarot Tuesday. And then what I added to it is that I am a pastor at heart. That's what drew me to ministry. I love serving a congregation. I love guiding people. It is my passion that I want people to connect. One of the things that I would say when I was a traditional pastor is that if your dog and cat, oh, thank you, Misty. If your dog and cat don't know you're saved, you ain't saved, right? And so it's sort of that same thing. If you're a spiritual person and the people in your life don't know that spirituality is for living. And I just see so many people hungry for spirituality. They're just, they don't know how to be guided. I'm like, hey, I know how to do that. I know how to empower you. I know how to give you some tools. I know how to help you. I'm not going to do it for you, but I can say, here, do this. And so I started on Instagram Live doing this, a little Sunday service at 9:30. And now I'm taping it so it can also go on my Tarot Living on Sunday. Just looking for ways to serve.
Yeah. And I believe you have a podcast as well, too, correct?
I have a podcast. So, it's really funny. I don't know if anyone here knows about Blog Talk Radio. I used to do Blog Talk Radio when I lived in California. So my podcast is inspired by healing through tarot. This is an amazing lady, Dr. Heather Hardison. She's a psychologist and she loves tarot. And tarot helped her through healing. And she has an awesome podcast. So I got inspired. And so what I do as a podcast is I go through certain decks and talk about them, or I might do a month ahead reading. Or my first 5 or 6 programs is I took people through the tarot deck. So the major arcana, we did 1 through 0 through the Hangman, and then 13 would be death through the world. We went over each suit. Yes, Flowing gave me a really beautiful comment from my reading from from Tuesday, which was yesterday. So thank you very much. And so my podcast is really talking about the tarot, educating people about the tarot, because my daughter and I were watching some cartoon. And of course, the psychic was like this horrible, schmarmy person who was just, it's like, that's not true. And so really wanting to break down people's fears, because see, my thing is I want to put every psychic out of business. Why? Because people learn how to use the tarot for themselves, learn how to connect for themselves, and then together we help uplift this world.
Yeah.
And so that's my long range goal. I say just put myself out of business because I've helped people learn how to shine their own light. So that's what my podcast is all about. Even though last Saturday I was really kind of preaching about something, but that's what I do.
Well, I think that's great, especially for those. I know there's a lot of people in the community that are interested in learning more about tarot. And honestly, I think it's a lot of people building up that confidence. And I know because for me, I started out as an oracle reader. never really dealt with tarot. I pick up the cards and I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what that means. And it wasn't until I picked up the light seer cards that they just
Mm.
spoke to me. And that was more intuitive. And then learning, oh, I can be an intuitive reader. Like you don't have to, it's just what the cards are guiding you. So really it's about people building up their own confidence level and stepping into that. And I love that you give more information on that as well, where people can tune in and learn more about the cards. So,
That's good. I see Katie Moonchild's taking a tarot card. So you got to just be educated on it. That yes, there is that psychic and intuitive aspect of it. But if you don't know what the Seven of Wands, how it's different from the Seven of Cups, I mean,
yes,
you guys could override that whole thing, but that's not the relationship. Your guides are wanting to work through you, not take over you. So
yes,
it's a beautiful
exactly.
thing. And I'm learning Lenormand cards.
I love those. Those were the other second cards that spoke to me because of that they tell you a story and then they go more
Yes,
in depth with the
yes,
readings and
yes.
they go a little deeper than the tarot cards do. So I really do enjoy working with those. Um, I wanted to point out this comment that Anna Banana had said that she never had a problem getting the concept of channeling Abraham. I equated that to speaking in tongues, which is a good point. I think I never even, well, even when people used to speak in tongues, that used to weird me out too. I'm not going to lie, when I was a kid in the church.
I think it's a very good concept. And I would add to that that when people had a prophetic word at church, that was channeling. We're
Hmm.
speaking in tongues. I thought, wow, they would say, this is an angelic language. I thought, my gosh, they're all speaking light languages. They don't even know
Isn't
it.
that something? I went to a service in 2020, attended, it was a church service, and I was just so moved and I could feel the energy, myself and my daughter, and the Holy Spirit, right? It's just spirits coming in and moving through people. And that's why sometimes people will yell or have an experience. And now being more spiritually open, I was able to really see it and experience it and feel it. And it was so incredible and so beautiful. And I was kind of sitting there laughing to myself because really we all just call it different things. It's all
Yes.
the same. It's just that we just have different terms and words for it all. And I love the story of my mom once. She was like, "Oh, I saw this man in our church and he told me about this was going to happen and that's going to happen." I said, "Oh, you saw a psychic?" "No, I didn't.
Hmm.
I did not see a psychic. This person was I said, "Mom, that's a psychic." "No, it's
Oh,
not. It's not a psychic." I was like, "Okay. Potato, potato. We're going to leave it
that's
at
right. Call him a
that."
prophet. Okay.
Yes, yes. She was like, "He's a prophet, man of God." And I said, "Okay. All right." So, but yeah, we want to talk about living an authentic spiritual life. And you have 5 different things that you want to share with us. So, what is the first that you would say? And what does it mean to you about living authentically a spiritual life?
That's a good question. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Well, so for me, I take it from the sort of the ceiling view and then bring it to this view. So when I talk about spiritual living, I'm talking about living like a cosmic Christ consciousness. And when I say Christ, I'm not talking about Jesus. Not that I have a problem with Jesus, but that Christ consciousness. So when you take a look at the theoretical or the theology of the Trimurti, so that's the 3 Hindu gods. There's a creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. But they're not just stuck in that because Shiva is the destroyer, but Shiva also creates, and Brahma can destroy, and the other way around. Or like the Buddha, someone who, a lot of people, many people don't know that the Buddha was a real person, was a historical person, Prince Siddhartha. And he was a rich little prince, spoiled baby prince, I guess they all are. And one day he escaped and got out of the castle or whatever, and he saw death, poverty, sickness, and there's 2 other things, 5 things that he saw. And it changed his life. And it
Mm,
sent him on this mission. There had to be something more than being stuck in this castle, right? And that journey connected him to a higher understanding. And so that same thing, master teacher Jesus. Again, this young person coming with a real spiritual calling on his life, and then that whole process of living into that moving into that concept of oneness, that what we all see as miracles to Master Teacher Jesus is just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We got how what we got all these people here, and we got what? Oh, that's enough. Right? There's more than enough. There's always enough. So then he feeds 5,000 people off a little boy's lunch, right? This whole thing. And or great teachers of our time, like Emma Curtis Hopkins. Again, this amazing woman who is like this oneness. So it's about having an understanding of oneness. So I would say that someone like Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Hardison, when I honored him on Instagram, she told me she said he's an indigo light worker. But he came, I thought, oh, what if there had been other light workers to hold energy for him? Same for Gandhi, same for Joan of Arc. These are people who did what light workers are, in my opinion, are supposed to do. Bring light, look at darkness and call it out for what it is, and then show people how to fight. Now, she had to battle physically because that's the realm she dealt with. And Dr. King was doing politically because that's where the darkness was wanting to grow. But that same thing. And then Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, Oprah, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith. So you have this higher level, and then these people who, and they're not perfect, they all got stuff going on. I'm not trying to say that, but they're love filled, they're light filled. And so when I'm talking about getting to that place to where we live in an understanding of oneness.
Yeah.
In that place of oneness.
I love that. That's a great point.
So you asked me, what was my first
what's
thing?
the first ingredient?
Well, I would say that I've had to make it less theoretical, or I'm sorry, that's how I get, that it's about conscious and internet and an intentional spiritual practice. It's just like you can't be like, I'm a mechanic, and then you come over here in my house and say, okay, you're gonna fix my car. I'm like, I don't have any tools.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Right? So I'm spiritual means I'm not religious, but a spiritual person. And this planet needs to evolve. Mother Gaia is depending on us. Us light workers came here for a reason, to help with that evolution. So, but we got to be conscious about it and intentional. All right, end the sermon. Not really, I'm sure. So what is my first of the 5 steps? What is the first one? And the first one, I will say this day in, day out, sun up, sundown, it's gratitude. And gratitude as a way of being, as a consciousness. So what I'm saying, that these are your default ways of acting. Who you are under pressure is who you are. That's one of my favorite quotes. So when you get stressed out, you freaking out and yelling and screaming and throwing knives and stuff, then that's the real you. Say, no, I'm a light worker and I have my tarot cards and crystals. Sure you do. But when you get stressed out, then do you go to those sacred tools, or are you like, WTF, and right? Just a question. And so gratitude as a default, and it's about being present. So you can't be you can't be grateful in the past. I can't say I'm going to go to Tuesday of 7 months ago at 6 a.m. and be grateful. No, I'm grateful right here. And in this presence is where I can connect to the goddess. It's where I can connect to divinity. This is where the divine is. It's right here in this present. And so gratitude brings me to this place. Yes, gratitude as a way of being.
Exactly.
That's my default. And let me tell you, it's not easy. This world loves complainers. I would say that the other thing about spiritual living is that you're in the world, but not of it.
Yep.
And so there should be something different about it. People are like, oh, you kind of weird. Thank you.
That's a compliment, right?
Correct. You got to be in the world and not of it. So the world wants to complain and be unhappy. No. Gratitude. And I got ran over by a car. I'm grateful. Well, if you're alive to say that, there probably is something to be grateful about, right?
Absolutely.
So, but being grateful that even in challenging circumstances, you have a friend to call. You can call upon your guides. You can go within for your resilience and say, I am grateful because I know that this is working for my greater good. And so it's about being present. That's why I have gratitude as the first.
And it's so amazing to see how it all aligns when you are in that state of gratitude, especially during the challenging times. And some of you have heard me share this story really quick. It was a time when my car had broke down on me, And I could have sat there and screamed and yelled and had a fit, but I just, stayed in a place of being calm and got out my car, put my flashers on. I just kept praying and being in a place of gratitude that, because cars were whipping around the corner and my car did not get hit at all. So just being grateful that nobody was hitting my car. And I asked for help. Eventually, help did come. These two guys came, pushed my car out of the way. I called them my little angels. And then the tow truck guy came, and we were joking and having a good time all the way to the car place. And even when they told me that my car was going to cost over $2,000 to get
Woo!
apart, I still stayed in that place of gratitude. I was like, I was safe. Somebody moved my car. I got it here. Then boom, I had shared the post on Facebook. One of my friends called me up and said, you know what? I'm going out of town. You could use my car for the week, while your car is being worked on. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. Everything started falling into place. Was I happy I had to pay $2,000? Heck no. Who would be happy about that? But because I allowed myself not to get upset about it and worried and stressed, yeah, of course, there's a little bit of that in there, but I knew everything was going to be taken care of, and it was. So this is one example of being in gratitude and important. You want to talk a little bit about the importance, because I know this is something that you share with people that you work with, and I've shared with others about writing it down every
Yeah.
day.
Yes. That the importance of that head body connection. And if you're the person wants to say it out loud, still you are speaking it, you're giving it life. So not just being, oh, I'm grateful, and this is about a practice, a connection. Again, it's about becoming present. So even taking those few minutes to write down, you're saying, this is important to me. I'm important. My time right here is important. And this sacred space is important. So yes, iPad, laptop, telephone, TV. Right now, this is important. And so this 5 minutes, I'm investing in my spirituality. This 5 minutes, I'm investing in making this world a better place. That's why I like to have you write it down.
Yeah.
Or type it into your phone. Sometimes I send myself a text. This is what I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I got to get present.
Yeah. And once you get started doing it, it's really very simple. It's a simple practice. It doesn't take a lot of time, and a few minutes every day. As soon as you get
My
up,
mom
or even
loves
before you go
strawberry
to sleep.
rhubarb pie. I keep seeing strawberry rhubarb taro. I'm like, my mom loves strawberry rhubarb pie.
Yeah, that's Sharon. Love that. All right. So then what is that? Look, it feels like now when I'm about to say ingredient, like we're making a pie, we're making a big spiritual pie right now,
Indeed,
right?
I agree. I agree.
So what would be the second ingredient that's
So
needed?
that would be stillness and meditation.
Mm,
One of the things, if you think about the Buddha, or if you see images of Lord Shiva or Brahma or Lord Vishnu, they're always in repose, right? And even Master Teacher Jesus is like, look, I gotta get away, right? And even go into the desert, go away. That there is an importance in stillness.
mhm.
How, if I'm trying to be in a relationship with you and I can never find you, how is that going to work? Right. And so that's the same way with the universe. Yes, the universe is everywhere and in all things. But again, this is about me and us making ourselves available. And so coming to that time of stillness, does it have to be an hour? No. I mean, if you got an hour to do it, good luck, but just that time. Again, this is about sowing the seeds, making that energy. When I get up in the morning, I come and sit in this very room. I have my planner, I have my cards that I'm using that day. I sit down, I start my incense, I sit down in that 5 minutes. So remember, in interdimensional time, stuff is longer and you're sowing those seeds. So 5 minutes on this plane could be a whole day of sowing information, of connecting. And so you got to get still. I had a friend, I told her I could get an appointment with the Pope easier than I could get an appointment with you, trying to track her down, right? Because she was running from herself. She didn't want to
Mm,
interact. She didn't want to be still in her house. She wasn't happy there. She didn't want to be still because she wasn't happy with what was going on in her life, her home, her family. And so that stillness, because again, that invitation from the text of Judaism, Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. You want to know your higher purpose? You want to know what the taste of divinity is like? You want to touch that divine feminine, that divine masculine? in the stillness.
Yeah. I think that's why, as well, we've had so many awakenings during the quarantine period, right? Because
Yes,
people were
yes.
forced to go onward. They were forced to be still. And I personally, it was a time of really big spiritual growth for me because, my daughter went away. It was just me. I only had me to look after. So why not? It was a perfect time to really go deeper with the meditations and just spirituality and connecting with myself. And like you said, it's really important for us all to know about ourselves. And there's different ways of how meditation looks. We've talked about this before as well. Even just sitting, it
I
doesn't have
see
to be
you,
where your
Renee.
eyes are closed, right? You can sit in nature or you could sit in your home with a nice cup of tea, but just be quiet. All electronics, everything turned off, just having a moment of being still. So I love that that's one of your ingredients because that is super, super important. And I
And I
also
do want
love,
to say, I see a couple of the ladies are talking about, yes, be grateful for everything, even your struggles. It's all temporary. This too shall pass. And that
Mhm.
gratitude comes from an understanding of your oneness.
Yeah.
And that again, life is in cycles. The wheel. That life is in cycles. And if you are at understanding that your divinity, there's nothing outside of you that can destroy the truth of who you are, one with the person that flung the stars in place, with the energy that created Gatlinburg, for those of you here with me, the Grand Canyon in Sedona, the beauty
Mm,
of Lake Tahoe and Cali, then there is nothing that's challenged yet at that time. So yes, the beauty of that, even in my struggles, it's only temporary because who I am
mhm,
eternally cannot be touched by that. And it's not like fairy dust, but it's having that real rootedness that yes, I might have to work through this. I might have to get some therapy. I might have to slap someone. No, I'm kidding. No throwing hands, right? But again, that it's rooted in an understanding of the truth of who you and I are.
yes.
Indeed. I see you, Renee. Renee's talking about preach. You know about me.
That's right. I love that. Yeah, I get like that too, Sharon. I have to kick my butt to leave too. I've gotten very comfortable in this quarantine
Oh
time.
my God. I mean, it's almost hard for me to go to the grocery. One of the things I love people, but I hate a crowd.
Mhm.
And so my wife's a Cancer empath. My daughter's a Cancer empath. My mother's a Pisces empath. I had all these water signs. I get it. So my boss was telling me something. She said, Miss V, what I like about you is that you really feel the pain of the managers and you want to help them. You're so empathic. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an empath myself. Right. And so, I already, yeah. So like if I could back in the day when grocery stores first went 24 hours a million years ago, I would be in the store like at 2 a.m. because I don't want to be in there with everybody.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
the quarantine is really, yeah, it's like, do I have to leave the house?
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
can eat
I
this
might have gotten a
moldy
little too
bread.
still.
We can eat this moldy bread. This is penicillin. It's good for us.
Katie says, I add one more thing to your process. Go outside and take off your shoes. Be still and breathe. Yes. Connect
Indeed.
to Mother Earth. Absolutely. Hug a
Agreed.
tree.
Agreed.
Hug a tree.
Agreed.
That just brings that connectedness and it feels oh so sweet. I do that when I go to get my mail. I'll take my shoes off and I'll just walk to the mailbox because I know I'm not going to go anywhere too far. So I will take my shoes off and go get the mail just so I can have that connection to the earth. Everyone, don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you're here.
Indeed. Thumbs
And
up. This is a great program.
yes, and also Minnassa, I pinned her channel at the top here of the chat. So please do make sure that you subscribe. I've seen
Yes, and
a
thank all
lot
of
of
you. Like
people have
I see it on the
subscribed.
side of my, it's like subscribing, subscribing, subscribing. I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to really do something with my channel.
I love that. Yeah, Mama Bear says, I'd rather stay home. I don't blame you. Yes.
See,
Oh,
and I
Misty.
told you, well, we're having an ice storm. You see, Renee's like, you better go to the stove. Yeah, we're gonna have some weather.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you have everything that you need. Um, oh, Suzanne, I'm so funny. I'm the same way. I love hugging trees, right? My daughter gets like super annoyed with me, but I will take like about 2 minutes to examine the tree first.
That's right, because you don't want to get any surprise.
No. I wish I was one of those persons that can be okay with bugs, but they freak me out. So I do a tree
Indeed,
examination before I hug it.
indeed, indeed.
Okay, so the first one, I'm writing these down so I remember. We have gratitude, and
Mhm.
then we have being still. What is the third ingredient?
So the third ingredient to me is self-love and self-care.
Mm,
And let
huge.
me tell you why. When I was a traditional minister, such a powerful woman preacher, in my denomination, she was a presiding elder at the time. So she was sort of like the supervisors of the pastors, because the pastors are called elders. And then she became a bishop against all odds. But I had to stop following her, even though she had inspired me so many times, because she was always posting something on Facebook like, even though I don't deserve it, God is even though I'm not worthy of it, God, I just
Mm,
thought, no, I don't want to be I'm just sick of that bullshit, okay? No disrespect to her. But it's like, why would you be in a relationship with someone? Why would you worship and be involved with a God that you feel you're not worthy of their love?
mhm.
Right? And so, okay, don't put preach, Renee. I'm a dial it back, right? But again, I think one of the things that religion has done has robbed us of knowing our value and
Mhm.
loving and caring ourselves. So the first folks at Church of God in Christ, the church at Sunday through Sunday, they at church. People there Monday, Tuesday night, or you get the women in the church and they in there cooking themselves to death and tiring themselves out, and then here the American way. You got to be active. You got to be moving. You got to, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy like those Mexicans and they take a siesta. But they're not all stressed out. They're not having heart attacks. They're not having strokes, right? And so again, that self-love, we've got to love ourselves. RuPaul, I love me some RuPaul. How are you gonna love somebody else if you don't love yourself?
Mhm.
And the care, and I had to get on myself about, oh, are my probiotics okay? Oh, they ran out. Oh my, and I thought, no, don't be talking to people about loving themselves and you're not doing it. So I got my probiotics, my vitamins, and my little sea moss. I put it on a subscription so that it'll be coming to me. And I gotta move.
Yeah. Isn't that
But
interesting
yeah,
how our
it's
society here in the United States, and we love to point out other people, as you mentioned, people in Mexico, and it's also European countries, other European countries, they all do take breaks and they don't do this crazy 9 to 5 working all the time. I mean, there's some aspects of it, but for the most part, they're all about people spending time with their families. And I know, like, I had a friend that used to live in Italy, and when she would go, they would literally shut down shops and they would close early so that families can come and have dinner with their kids. And it's important. And we haven't made that important. And I think now, because of COVID and everything that's been going on, we're taking at things at a different look. People are realizing, oh, we don't have to work at the office. You don't have to go to an
yes,
office
how
to get to the work.
mysterious that you could actually work from home.
Yes. I mean, some jobs, obviously, right? They have to go to their
Right.
location, but for a lot of jobs, you don't. And so we're starting to look at things a little bit differently and understanding what is more important to us, what is important, and that self-love and that self-care of taking care of yourselves. Right? We used to be sick. I'm sure this was the same with you too. If you get a cold or something, like, you still went to work. You would go to work,
Exactly.
you know?
Now, the way
But
I was raised is if the mortician is writing your excuse, then you don't have to go to work.
yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That's
So it's a
very
different
true.
way.
And that concept of self-care, one of the things I'm so grateful for from my mother is that we had a visit. We went to the eye doctor, the dentist, and the doctor every year, like clockwork, like clockwork. How many of us are still doing that? Say, okay, how many I'm gonna make? Okay, 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 I'm gonna make it. Okay, no, you are valuable. Go get that exam. Now, I'm not so good with the dentist, so okay, all right. But I will get to that eye doctor and I will get to that exam. And I got an appointment later this month because we got to set up my colonoscopy and go get my boobs smashed, right? My
Mhm.
go see the GYN. That's how you have to do something like I sat in the forest and I was like, just go to the doctor. Say, well, no,
Mhm.
I'm a spiritual person. I don't need the doctor. Okay, go to the doctor. right? They're not the opposite of spirituality. They're a way that the divine works through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So go to the doctor, and then one of the things I have a to-do list at work. You know what's on my to-do list of all the other things I need to do? I have the word relax.
Mm,
Because when I'm at work, I need to relax.
yeah.
And what is it something that you like? Part of the other thing is what is going on with the diet culture, right? Everything, I don't know if men are affected in the same way, and Ron, you can chime in, but women were told everything's going to make you fat. So, but whatever happened to just the pleasure of eating? Look at what I got here. I don't know if you can see it. Biddle honey.
Oh, I remember those. Yes.
Right? What is that thing that you really like? Let yourself have that. I was trying to drink my tea with just heavy cream. I was like, you know what? Let me get this agave up in here. Let me get this. I we have got to stop denying ourselves stuff. So why am I going to get fat? Okay. Is that what you're saying? You're going to get fat? Fat. What does fat mean, right? I look at pictures of myself when I was younger. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was that fat.
Yeah.
Right? So again, self-care is about doing things that bring you pleasure.
Mhm.
Did she say that? Yeah, bring you pleasure. Get your toy on, all right, okay? Or get that person that you love. Get your love on. I love to wrap myself up in a blanket. My wife can. She said, "What is like?" I said, "I love to feel snuggy." So is that even a word? I'm like, yeah, snuggy is a word, right? Self-care is about pleasuring ourselves. It's about eating things that make us feel good. So, like here, let me tell you, I've had more fried chicken in the time that I've lived here in the South than I've had my whole life. But you know what? Fried chicken tastes good.
Mhm.
So now I'm not trying to have it every day. But sometimes, you know what? Let me get this fried chicken, or let me get this fried fish, or let me get these biscuits,
Well, I
right?
always say it's all about moderation, right?
Correct, but it's
Everything in
also
moderation.
let's take the word moderation out for a minute and let's just allow ourselves to have whatever. Because yeah, you can. Let me tell you, you guys come over here to the South. They got Bluebell, got a big old gallon of ice cream like this. It's like this how it is. Okay, you gonna eat that gallon and be sick. You gonna be done. But at least when you want some Bluebell, you know you got it.
Yeah.
Right? Again, self care and self love is about doing the things that make us happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, fried chicken, but I don't eat it too much. I'm telling you, girl, but
Yeah.
just
And for
saying.
me, I see. So now for me, this is me personally. I have to use the word moderation because that's what I like to say a sugarholic in a sense.
Oh yes, well
And
I
and
get it.
so I love my sweets. I have the biggest sweet tooth. So when I put the word moderation out there, it gives me permission that I can still have these things, but I can't do it all the time. So for me, it's kind of like a barometer and
All right, well I
it
honor
keeps me in
that.
check.
I just want to say that and yes, I hear you that yes. But I guess if you ate like five of whatever your favorite candy was, you probably wouldn't want to eat them again, right? So yeah, so moderation
No.
definitely. But we need to have pleasure. Like I have this friend. There's ladies that I talk at church and I'll say, stop buying stuff on sale. Buy it full price now. Oh my God, Carolyn and Judy come and get me. Oh, don't you know we're gonna go listen, I get it. I want a bargain too. I used to take this is something, Sonia, you can relate to, or anyone that's got a teenage daughter. Go to the store, Kohl's. Everything in the store is on sale, but two things. Those are the two things my daughter wants that are full price, right? So I'm
Yeah.
not saying don't get a sale, but I'm saying at the other time, you don't have to be all cheapity.
Yeah,
Self-care
exactly.
and let's do the things that bring us pleasure because it
Yeah.
makes you a better person. And happiness is as contagious and more than COVID.
There's this great story about this woman. I heard her tell the story that she and a friend went to go get ice cream, right? Let's just say it was chocolate ice cream. And they both have chocolate ice cream and she's, eating her ice cream. She asked her friend how she was enjoying her ice cream. And she was like, yeah, it's good. And, but she was just having all this guilt. And her friend said, well, we're eating two different types of ice cream. And she said, why would you say that? She's like, we both have chocolate. She said, no. She's like, I'm enjoying mine. I'm having, that pleasure aspect, right? And so it feels good and it's going down in my body, and I'm just going to be able to release this. but you're eating guilt ice cream.
Yes, yes.
And that really resonated and was huge for me. So when I do choose to have items and things that I like, I sit there and I really enjoy it, trying to release that guilt because our
Indeed.
emotions, we store all
Indeed.
of that.
Correct. That there's self-care. Buy yourself something at full price. Go
Mhm.
on the trip. Stop that china that you got in your wedding or you got yourself at your divorce. Eat on it today. Stop saving it for the special occasion. You are alive today and you're beautiful and fabulous. That's the special occasion.
Yes, yes. And one other quick note for those that are caregivers in any aspect of
Mm,
that, whether you're a mother or you're taking care of a family member, or whatever the case may be, we lose ourselves in that at times. And I know that was for me being a mom growing up. I didn't take care of myself because everything was about my daughter. And I was like, and that's fine, but you can't lose yourself in that process. So it's important for you because how good are you to someone else if you're not good to yourself? So that's really important too with the self-care and self-love that you have to take time for yourself. Even if it feels like you don't have any time at all, there's a little time in there that you can make for yourself. It doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of time.
true, true.
Yeah.
So
All
true.
right. So what is the fourth ingredient?
So I'm loving these people are saying, for me, I got to do avoidance, and that's fine. So give yourself pleasure in some other way. Like if you just can't control
Mm,
it, like why if I give her little candies, like here, this should last you the whole week. What, they're all gone. So then allow yourself to have pleasure in some other way.
yeah.
And that yes, I love food, obviously, so that's why it's a deal for me. But what are other things? Buy yourself that thing at full price. Go to the movies and don't go at the discounted time, right?
Yeah.
And get some popcorn or whatever. This again about pleasure. There's a saint. I think it's Saint Teresa of Avila. And I saw a picture. I was like, what is going on with this lady in this picture, right? Because it was her ecstasy of her connection with the divine. I'm like, I've seen that look on people's faces before, right? So again, that just outright allow pleasure, allow joy into your life. If it's not with food and you love to shop, say, well, I got to watch my money. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Just even if it's something little, if you buy yourself one $60 top instead of waiting for it to get to 30%, this
Hmm.
self-love and self-care, we are worth it. Find your bliss. Allow your bliss. Invite
Hmm.
it. Okay, here we go. So what is number 4? Is that what you asked me, ma'am?
Yes. What's the next part of this pie, this spiritual
Next part
pie?
of this pie. So next part of the pie is living with intentionality and alignment. And this can be very
Mm,
challenging for people like us because we're already spiritual. But uh, we've got to feed that. We have still got to feed that aspect of ourselves. And then shadow work. Everyone says shadow work. And this is a real hard place for us right now because even with their spirituality, you still might have issues from your life here in this world. And you can be spiritual and try to bypass that. And it still comes out. And so this is about living your life with intentionality. Today, it is my intention to live as a light of the divine. It is my
mhm,
intention to live as a transformative presence in this world and then to act and be in that way. And then alignment with your highest purposes. I'm kind of hemming and hawing around, but if this is the last time I get invited to any of these tarot love community shows, I appreciate it. I appreciate the love you showed me. So last year, or actually when George Floyd was executed, I
mhm,
was doing a program with a beautiful lady named Achintia. And Achintia, the next day, started posting stuff about his death, and that this was not right. And we need to fight for justice and we need to stand up. And a lot of the white light workers were like, no, we are about love and light and we got to stand. She was like, you can't be a light worker and not say bigotry and prejudice is wrong.
mhm,
And when you have a chance to do that, right? And so many times we want to hide behind that love and light. If you're in alignment with your highest purposes, that means you might need to check yourself when you see, You see me or Sonia, you're okay with that. But when a black man walks by, you want to grab your purse closer. Hey, now if he's got like a gun and a knife and a dog and he's coming towards you like, right? But most time black men not walking like that, people are not feeling safe. Or,
Yeah.
well, they weren't speaking English, so I didn't like that. Okay. You know, there is a real truth to that in our community, we've all got to get on track with living with our alignment with our highest purposes, and that's about oneness. I
Yeah.
did my book on my podcast, my deck on the podcast. Two young women of color did their first oracle deck, no people of color in it. Why? Because they were afraid. They didn't know how the
Mm.
community would accept that. Okay, we can't be about that. Churches, what is the most segregated hour in the world? 11 a.m. People are supposed to love them some Jesus. But I'm not sitting next to those black people, or I ain't sitting with those white folks, or I ain't sitting with those Mexicans, or I ain't sitting with those Asians. So we got a Korean service. Say, well, that's because of language. They live here, they speak this language, right? And so for us, if we are going to be about the light, and I'm a light worker, and I'm a tarot person, we have got to be in alignment with oneness. And that means, no, I don't want Donald Trump in my house. Okay. I don't want Mitch McConnell in my house. And I don't want the head of the Ku Klux Klan in my house. But I still have to understand that minus their fear, which is the cause of who they are God like I am.
Mhm.
Right? And that's that purpose, to be able to walk in that road, to live intentionally. So again, is my natural reaction like, well, those people, those who, right? That we have got to lead the charge. The world is not changing without the light workers revving it up.
Yeah.
We are the ones, and we've got to deal with this in our own community. Be in alignment with our highest purpose, oneness. We are one. Not God and I are one. God is, I am.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's all about we're all human. We are all human, and
All
it's
right,
take
Katie.
what is
She's like,
that's
that's not
not
what
what
I
I
want.
said,
I had a young black man in
Katie.
my office today too, and I was like, if I shut the door, so he was really tall, so it would have been hard for me to take him down. But yes, I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
that.
like you said, I am not a fan of the orange man, but I try to just send light his way, and that he finds his way, and that he will learn lessons in this life, hopefully,
And because
but
we're
that's
spiritual
part of his
people,
journey.
we're
I'm sorry?
powerful. So when we send that negative vibe, it gets
It
magnified
gets
because
bigger.
we're
Yes.
magnifiers. So we gotta, and I'm not saying it's easy when I see, I'm just saying that we have got to live in intentionality, and that means, being in the world but not of it. Division is of this world.
Mhm.
Othering is of this world. Separation is of this world, and it's not in alignment
Yeah.
with the Christ consciousness. Is not in alignment with the goddess. It's not in alignment. And that you're asking me my opinion. You can say, you know what, Minnassa, you're full of it. And, I'm going to dream and have my tarots and it's all going to get well. I hope so. Because, I'm sick of talking about it. I was in apartheid uh, protest, and this country's still living a form of that now. So
Mhm.
if crystals and sage and tarot cards can fix it, let's do it. But I'm saying it's going to take a little bit more than that, and we have the power.
Absolutely. I love that. And speaking of alignment, today is 2
That's right.
22. How beautiful is that to be having this conversation
And it's
today?
Tuesday.
And it's Tuesday. Look at
Let's see.
that.
No, that's not today's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday.
Oh, no, it's Wednesday. Hello,
Never
Wellness
mind. Let's look
Wednesday.
at my daughter's
Duh.
name. Her friend is Tuesday. His birthday's on Tuesday, 2/22/22.
Wow.
So sorry for my little Tuesday. But yes, and so again, we have got, the church tried to do that, But they got caught up in the illusion of separateness, in the illusion of privilege, in the illusion of patriarchy. And we have got to, you know, bring that back. And so that's for to be a spiritual person living in alignment, got to live with intentionality and in alignment.
Yeah.
And I'll leave that there.
We are the love.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Got to have more love. Um, Sharon's now thinking about changing her name to Strawberry Rhubarb Spiritual Pie.
I think that's a good idea. It's so yummy. I think I'm going to make one. I don't know where's rhubarb.
And
I like rhubarb in
Suzanne's,
the summer, right?
what's that?
Rhubarb only comes out in the summer.
You know, I don't know. I've never had rhubarb pie.
Oh, my mom used to get it years ago. It used to be frozen. She would, cook it like you do like an apple pie from Mrs. Covison.
Oh,
Mrs. Covison makes frosting, whoever.
I
I mean,
love apple
stuffing.
pie. Well,
Yeah.
Suzanne says she's enjoying this spiritual pie.
Well, I'm
So
glad to hear it.
let's bring it on home. What is the last ingredient?
So the last ingredient, in my humble opinion, and let me say, I thank you, all of you, for listening, for your support, and for your love, and for supporting this great lady here, Sonia. She has been an inspiration to me and help encourage me to do my own channel, because I would watch her and see what she was doing, and she seemed so powerful and poised. I thought, well,
Oh,
I'm going to
thank
do that.
you.
So I appreciate you, young lady, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to be here. So
Of
the last
course.
ingredient is service.
Mm.
We've got to be a transformative presence, but it starts at home and then in our communities. We want to go out there and help everybody. No, let's start here. Be a transform. And I tell you, sometimes it happens in the strangest way. So many of you know, I said that I'm married to a woman, and we moved here to the Mid-South. And we moved to the Mid-South. It's Tarot Living with Minnassa. It's my channel. We moved here to the Mid-South, and I got a job working because we had some financial investments that didn't work out the way that we thought they would. Just a whole bunch of things. And I have my little job. I got a great skill set. So I'm working at the hospital in Mississippi. Okay, no difference from here, but in Mississippi. So I'm telling my boss, so I'm like, I'm going to be transparent. I tell her that I'm married to a woman. Were we married then? Yes, we finally got married. Finally made a decent woman out of her, and we got married. And her reaction, I might as well have said, I love stabbing children in the eye with an ice pick. Right?
Wow.
I mean, it was like, but at the same time, she would question me about things like, how can you have a relationship with God? So we ended up turning out good. So here we go. But like, she's the only one that no. I told another lady, her thing was, well, I guess we all have our sins. I thought, wow.
Whoa.
Okay, but that's good. Well, lo and behold, now my wife started working there in August. She's a case manager. She's an RN, MSN, CCM. All right, don't get me to bragging on my sweetie cakes. But now they're just like somehow everyone knows about us, but we ended up sort of serving that community by bringing, like, here we are, and we're like normal people, and we're not trying to have sex with all of you or rape and molest children.
Right.
And so sometimes you serve your community in the simplest way by being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But being
authentically yourself.
Correct. Being of service.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like that. And so part of my way of serving is by having my Sunday sacred space, a way to do that. And I'm looking for more things. I want the world to open back up. I used to be crocheting things for like the hospital when I worked at Cedar Sinai. And so just to really be able to volunteer in that way, but to serve our community. People don't know. People got weird ideas about tarot cards and crystals, and they get to know you, and they come to your house, and they can't walk too far in my house and not see tarot cards or crystals. Then they're open to that. Or you're so loving and gracious when everyone else was judging them. And they say, what's different about you?
Mm-hmm.
That's people. I saw two people hug today. I was standing in line to get my breakfast, and I thought, I told him that was wonderful. We've stopped touching each other,
Yeah.
you know, and but service. So I'm not talking about some big service project, which would be beautiful, but bringing your love and light to your community by being yourself.
Hmm.
That's who people need to see. That we don't wear our cute little black witch hats like, right? I mean, if that's who you are, I love you, okay? But you know what I'm saying? They just need to see we're regular people who use this beautiful sacred tool to connect with the divine so we can live our best life, so we can bring healing to ourselves and guide and help people.
Yes. Yes. And as I always say, I think it's beautiful that the more people that we see, the more light workers that come forward and start being of service, the more people that we can help to educate and to heal and to help more move people more into the light as opposed to dealing with the dark. And one thing I can say about 45 that has
Not
helped.
hating, not hating on the little witch hat. I'm just saying, I love wearing.
Yes, yes. No, Lisa, your little witch hat looks fabulous, girl. It's all good. But the one thing I can say about him, he's brought so much of that dark to the light,
Yes,
and it needed to be done.
and
And I always
grateful for
say that
that.
he is that Band-Aid that was ripped off that's
Yes.
been on America for years and years. And so now we finally get to see all the ooze and the pus and all of that stuff. And
No,
so
I'm
we
grateful.
can heal it. It needs to be healed.
Yes, yes. Here in the South, they're being all traumatized about critical race theory. I'm like, it's not critical and it's not a theory. It's just information presented in a different way. But in Florida, they want to pass a bill that you can't make white people feel bad about racism or feel bad about prejudice and bigotry. And my whole point is feel if you feel it, you can heal it. So let's
Mhm.
feel it so we can heal this nation. We keep trying to hide it. I
Yeah.
mean, if you had an appendicitis and you didn't get any pain, you would just drop dead. They're like, oh, what happened, right? But that pain lets you know. Or for those of us who've had the children, when those labor pains hit, something's getting ready to happen, right? So that pain can have a purpose.
Yeah.
The pain can have a purpose and it can bring about the healing. That's why I say the beautiful thing about, you know, I'm like the queen of rubbing alcohol. I don't know hydrogen peroxide, So my daughter would be like, is that the hydrogen peroxide? I'd be like, yeah. And I would wipe her really quick before she'd get away. Like, no, mama. Right? That pain is the beginning of the healing.
Yes.
And sometimes we gotta get that pain.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
So
then it begins the healing.
that is beautiful. That is the spiritual pie, folks. If anybody has any questions, I forgot to mention that earlier. We got took off just talking there, but if there's any questions before we close tonight, please feel free to put those in the chat. But I love that. So we have our spiritual pie consists of gratitude, being still, getting into more meditation, self-love and self-care, living in intentional and living in alignment, and as well as being of service. So these I love that. Suzanne's like, can I have a second piece? Of course
Indeed,
you may.
indeed,
I love
indeed.
that.
Such a loving community. Kudos to Renee for having this vision to bring together a community of people that love tarot, but also that love. And that, thank God, grateful, thank God for YouTube and for technology. Before
Right.
we would have been doing this through the newspaper, right? I love tarot. Do you?
Yeah,
Those sorts of
exactly.
things. And so kudos to her for that vision. And then congrats to all of us for saying, you know what, I'm not going to hide. I'm going to bring my gifts right on out and get on here in the public. I'm going to get on YouTube, but I want to say tarot and oracle decks and Lenormand cards. And I got to get the little Kipper cards. I want to learn how to do them all. I want to learn how to do a reading from like deck of cards.
Mhm.
Right. But kudos to all of you for saying, I'm love and this is what I do. And give me some rhubarb pie and I'm this and I'm that. But yes, we are shining lights. We are being a transformative presence. And I am so happy to be able to hang out
Oh,
with this
me
group of
too. I
crazy
have to
people.
end it on this because Lisa Nichols, who's a motivational speaker, I love when she says this. She says, let your light shine. And if someone says to you, it's too bright, you tell them to put on a pair of shades. Don't be bothered. Let your light shine. And yeah, I love that. They can't handle it. Put on those shades. You don't.
Indeed.
Yes, 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 yes. Minnassa, thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate you. This was a beautiful discussion. And I feel that everyone else, yes, amazing talk.
And I saw all
Absolutely.
these people, so I'm going to be having a guest. I'm starting thanks to Renee, I'm starting my own little thing like this. And so I will be wanting to have all of you as a guest on my show.
Would love that. Absolutely. All right. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. Blessings to you all. And I will be on this Friday morning, actually tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I will be on Katie Moonchild's channel with Sienna and Red Lentil and
So what
talking
time is
about the flow.
what time is her show? I don't know if I follow her. I'm going to have to find. I didn't know
Yeah,
about her.
find Katie Moonchild, Child's World. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be having a talk then. And then, of course, my coffee chat this Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time.
10:30 my time.
Yes. So, all right, everyone, take care. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up on your way out. Bye-bye.